What's going on, everybody? Indonesia, I see you, Tony. Just creating, y'all. So yeah, I see people are asking about the pedals that I'm using. I have several pedals. It's not like a one board like the Boss or anything like that. This is for the looper. I'm using my Digitech, my Jam stereo that I've had for years. I'm still using that, and I do have a delay, and I do have a reverb that you're hearing as well as a chorus and a envelope filter by MXR. The reverb that I'm using is the Hall of Fame 2 by TC Electronic, and the delay is an Alter Ego as well by TC Electronic. The chorus is a Corona chorus. That's the sound that was giving me this. So you get that nice little organ thing. If you depend on how you adjust the chorus, you can get a lot of things out of this chord. So if I adjust it, it gives me something completely different. Yeah, let me take that reverb off so you can hear it a little better. So this is what we have with that chorus. So just some different ways you can kind of go through it and play with what you want that thing. Speed. Playing around with this chorus. So as you can see, you can get really lost really quick having fun with that thing. So yeah, several pedals. If you're not using any bass pedals and you want to spice up your practice time or just get more creative, I definitely encourage the usage of the pedals. Like I said, I'm using the MXR bass envelope filter. That's what gives you the let me take the reverb out. You have to adjust it for whatever your likings are. You can use it on both slap tone and frame. So yeah, that's those are the pedals that I'm using, guys. Who all do we have on this morning? Let me check some of these comments. Melvin Bell, what type of pedal are you using to create that loop? So I think I answered that for you. Several people are asking about the oh, Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Bruce, good morning, man. Good morning, Mama. Elias, Errol, good morning to you. Yoans, I think that's how you pronounce it. Good morning to everybody that's on this morning. Is that base real expensive? That can get pricey. You're looking to spend a little money on any boutique base that you purchase. They can be a little pricey depending on your definition of pricey. It's not as expensive as like a Federa, uh, but they can be a little pricey. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, they are more on the pricey side than your standard Ibanez or something like that. You're looking to spend a little bit more. And really, with the boutique bases, you kind of get to customize them. Whereas you're buying something that's stock out of the store, you don't have as many options available to you. Whereas with some of these bases, you kind of get to specify what you want in terms of the wood combinations you'd like to use and kind of go for a different type of sound. You can do that with some other bases that are less expensive, but it's really all up to you. It just, I like this particular, but even with the Warrior bases, it's really up to preference. That chord you did at the end, what is it? I'm not sure which chord you're referring to. Uh, Hello from the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I'm not sure which chord you were referring to. So we got people from everywhere on here this morning. So did you guys get a chance, by a show of hands, did you get a chance to check out the last video that I posted the other day about building your confidence as a player? I hope you guys had an opportunity to check that out. A question and a progression in D minor 7 to G7, C7, A. What can I improvise a solo? So you said D minor 7 to G7. Oh, you talking about dominant though? To here. I gotta look at your little chord chart. You look at your chord chart you got again. Yeah, I mean, it's my thing with that particular. That's a pretty. I would try to stay away from the root with that. I mean, obviously you're playing the D minor. You can get away with those kind of things and like take different ways of spelling it out. You can take that shape dominant rather. So I'm really just taking the same shape and moving it around with the exception of when we're starting with that D. do a C major pentatonic, you can always get away with that kind of stuff. So let me do that loop again. Y'all know me. I'm a perfectionist, and that wasn't clean enough for me. So all I'm doing there, that thing that I just played fast, I'm just using that D Dorian. And just kind of getting through it. I didn't mean to do that. Just kind of arpeggiating these different things. So starting with that. Just a really basic approach to get to it. Back to the one. You can just kind of play around and just wherever you land, make your way around the chords that are going on. But if you want to stay in that one position, if you're not as comfortable with moving around the chords, you can stay in that one position and move around that C major pentatonic. Of course, I'm on this 6th string, and so I got more range with that. And I can get away with that, playing over that C major pentatonic with the whole thing. Just take different ideas. So your vocabulary, it doesn't have to be that extensive to have a good solo. And I'll just try to play just using the major pentatonic. That I'm adding in there, that's adding a little bit more flavor and blending more with what's happening, is that chromatic walk down. Other than that, I'm just playing with the with that, kind of like a double stop. So you can just kind of get around with it that way. Let's see here. I missed some comments. What's up, Steven? Hopefully I answered your question. Like the bossa nova. All right. Do you use pedals a lot when you play for other people? I watched that video. Yeah, well, it depends on what I'm playing. If I'm not doing a lot of soloing, more than likely I'm not going to be using a lot of pedals. Um, do you have a book which explains about the bass, which you write yourself? I haven't written a book, Kevin. I don't have a book, so no. To answer that question, I do have a lot of materials on my website, video based, but I haven't did any books that explain my process as of yet. So we'll we'll look into that in the near future. But as of now, no, I haven't done a book. So all right, guys. So I got on here to get into the talking. If nobody else have any other questions about any of the stuff I was just playing just now. What was my title? I forgot that quick. Keep going. So that's it. Stedman, what's up, man? That chord, dude. Which chord? To my that chord. You can actually get that chord on the 4 and 5 string. So you can get it on a 4 and 5 with that, depending on your frets. What kind of chord is that? I gotta actually spell that chord out. So it's almost like a major 7 chord. But with flattening. I know my theory heads are gonna get me about the name of this chord. I actually don't know the name of this chord. I gotta spell it out. It's one of them chords that I just kind of been used to playing. I just naturally go to it out of a run. It's just one of the things my hand just automatically lands on. Theory people say, what's the name of that chord? Let's see here. Okay, thanks, dude. That's the one. I'll work on it. Sound really good. Yes, sir. What brand bass is this? Is a Serene. This is a Serene bass built by Scott Serene. I put the link to this bass in my last lesson. I actually mentioned this bass in my last lesson that I posted on the weekend. So yeah, this is a bass by Scott Serene for Serene Basses, SURINE basses.com. So yeah, SURINE basses.com. You can look up this particular model. How do you play those? Like when you play, I'm sorry, y'all. I'll be getting notifications pop up on my phone. I don't have a dumb moment that I can't read. I just see these notifications popping up while I'm trying to read y'all's comments. How do you play those? Like when you were playing the lick and land on a chord? Just practice. That's the best way I could say it. Because most of the runs that we're playing, we're spelling out a chord with the run anyway. So that just kind of leads you into. See, once I do that, I'm already halfway on the chord. So, and the only thing that really needs to drop down is my ring finger. And there's so many different ways you can use. And you could just keep going on with it. The thing is to practice your runs into the chord that you're trying to get to. Know what that chord sounds like before you get to it. Like if you're practicing just this chord, know what the chord sounds like, and then you can lead your run into that chord. You know what I'm saying? But certain chords are easier to on bass. Certain chords are easier to run into. Like this chord is very easy to come out of a run and land on it. Because you got two notes already in place, ready to go. Like that chord there. Yeah, I play the serene a lot more. I mean, that's just I think the nature of having something new. You're gonna play it more, just because you're trying to get more and more familiar with it, and that's what I've been trying to do with the serene. The reason why you've been seeing me playing it a lot, because I'm just really trying to get at home on it, feel really really comfortable with it. That's just, again, that's just the nature of something new. You want to break it all the way in, not wear it out, but break it all the way in until you feel completely comfortable and confident on it. Are you gonna do more vids giving gospel ideas? You hadn't been on my channel long. That's a lot of my stuff is pretty much majority gospel and some funk-ish stuff, but the majority of my stuff is gospel. But what are you meaning? So I won't insult your question. What do you mean in particular? Like specifically, what are you asking about in terms of gospel? What gospel stuff are you looking for that I haven't already covered? Because I want to make sure that I am fully understanding your question. I don't want to insult your intelligence as well. And while I'm waiting on that answer, again, the title of this video that I haven't got to yet is keep going, keep going, keep going. I know as musicians, it can get really discouraging at times, not just in your playing, but in life in general, especially as it relates to your career when you're not seeing the traction that you want to see as a musician, and you're putting the time, you're actually doing the stuff, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the work, and you get frustrated because maybe you guys are not getting certain calls and that kind of thing. Vids on Jazz concepts. What type of concepts, Steven? So on your next video, man, love your work. Thank you. See you on your next video. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I completely lost my train of thought. I want to say I was talking along the lines of you working hard, you put in the work, and you're not seeing the actual result of what you're doing. It can become very frustrating and overwhelming for a lot of people. A lot of people quit as musicians. A lot of people just say, you know what, I'm done with it. And so I just want to encourage you guys, if you're in that place, if you're in that place where you're like you're on the fence about whether you want to continue this music thing or just go and do something completely different. Ultimately, that's your decision. But I would tell you, if it's something you're truly passionate about, and you know that, like, man, this is me, this is what I do, I'm completely 100% passionate about this thing, regardless of what you see, be sure you don't quit too soon. I know you all have seen that. Well, most of you have seen that diagram about these guys. It's like a guy on the top and a guy on the bottom. They're both kind of mining. They have these little pickaxes, and they're picking away. And you can see the picture of the diamond in the far, like it's off to the side here. The diamonds that both of them are going towards. One guy's a little closer. He's swinging with all he got, and the other guy, he's like right there, and he's putting his pickaxe down, turning around, going the other way. He had like this much to go. But the other guy, he's just going at it with everything he had. And that's, to me, that's kind of the idea where we are in our careers, in terms of our work, what we're trying to do as musicians. We're so close, but sometimes you have that setback, you have that disappointment, You have that glass ceiling that happens sometime in your plan and make you feel like you're not getting anywhere. To make you like, man, you know what? I am done with this thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to put it up and just kind of shoot your deuces and do something else. I know the feeling oh too well. And like I say, if somebody on here is experiencing that, or if you're in a season where you're experiencing that, understand that it's a season, and seasons come and go. Winter, spring, summer, fall, they come and go, and it's natural. It's something, no matter what level you're on as a musician, you're going to experience it. I'm pretty sure Victor Wooten and all of them have experienced a season of where they wanted to just not do this anymore, or just do something completely different, go work at McDonald's, or do something else other than try to be a musician, because it can be very, very difficult, and sometimes the payoff seems like it doesn't come quick enough. But if you're true and if you're honest in what you're doing, you'll see the benefits of your work. uh you said you've never seen me slapping. Oh, you said 4 or 5 weeks. Do I slap? Yeah, I slap. Let's see here. Yes, I'm new to your stuff. I mean, like more vids based on the modes. Yeah, Kimbo, I've done. If you go through my channel, I've done a lot of stuff talking about the modes. A great deal talking about the modes. So please, um, yeah, please go back and check out some of those things. Because what I want, I don't want to just keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. Will you do more videos where you interview another musician again? I'd like to see that. Um, it may happen in the near future. I need y'all to share those videos. If you like those videos, I need y'all to share. Get those get the ratings up on those videos. Those videos did okay. It's like a couple of videos that were cool with that, but I make the videos, of course, what I want to create, what I want to give to you guys. I want to give you great content, but at the same time I want to make sure it's something uh, that the majority of you guys are interested in. And I don't want to be putting out content that nobody wants to see, because that stuff gets shelved, you know. And YouTube looks at those analytics and they say, oh, nobody's watching your videos, so we're going to just go ahead and start hiding your stuff. So I am interested in doing some more of the interviews. I don't know how soon they will come back, but yeah, if you can get enough people watching those interviews, that might be something. You might prompt me to do that a little sooner. But somebody asked about me slapping. They said they've been here for like 4 or 5 weeks and they never. You know, I don't profess to be a slap master or anything like that, but I do a little. Let's see here. Let me go back. Let me go back. Y'all asking a lot of random. Uh, we do more. Let me see. I'm trying to read through the comments. What about sweeping arpeggios for the bass? I don't know if that's my thing, Oscar. The sweeping arpeggios thing. I don't know if that's my thing. Yeah, interview more videos like Matt Ramsey or Maurice Fitzgerald, gospel guys. And the other thing with the bass interviews, something that made it a little more difficult is logistics, and just trying to make sure that I can actually get access to different people. Because everybody's so spread out. It's not like we're all in the same, state, or we all on the same schedule. A lot of these guys are in different places. I'm in Georgia, so yeah, it's sometimes difficult with getting that whole thing. Because I think those guys, Maurice is in Chicago, and Matt Ramsey, I think, is in Texas or somewhere like that. Great tone. Thanks, Kimbo. Um, can you think about subject like lock the bass to the drum? Yeah, Chris, I've actually done several videos on that particular topic. It may not have had that title, but I've done several videos talking about locking with the drummer. And if anybody been around for a while and heard some of my lessons, I'm an avid, especially monthly members. They hear me wear that out all the time, talking about if you're a bass player, you definitely need to be kind of trying to lock with the drum, trying to connect with the drummer. Um, you slap better than I do. When it comes to slap, I normally it's based on the song. I know you guys hear me play more finger style stuff on here because most of the stuff I play on here is more solo based. But if I'm playing on a live gig and the song calls for slap, of course it's a natural thing that I'm gonna probably go and do more slapping and that kind of thing. It's a little more difficult to slap sometimes on a six, because you got that string spacing that's a little different, and you have that extra string, that C string at the bottom. It's not impossible for me. It's just a little bit more difficult, and I'm still getting used to this bass. Yeah, I'm still really getting used to the spacing. This spacing is slightly different from my spacing on my six string Warrior. So the spacing on this, I'm still kind of getting used to it. Yeah, I got to get used to the spacing. It's weird. It's weird for me. Will you consider doing bass clinics around the country? Absolutely. I'm working on that, Oscar. What part of the country are you in? What country, rather, are you in? I would love to be there. Can you please do a base camp in Georgia? Stepman, what part of Georgia in particular? We're waiting on, we're kind of working out some of this stuff. San Antonio, Texas. That's cool, man. San Antonio, I have a friend of mine. Well, I don't know how close that is to San Antonio. That area of Texas. Now I've completely forgot the area that he told me he just moved to. A good friend of mine just moved to an area. Hopefully in Texas, I'll be coming soon. I say soon, within the next few months or so. Um, but yeah, stay tuned with all of that different stuff. Now I want you guys that are recommending these clinics. I don't want to show up and be there by myself. Now I have done clinics in areas and cats. Oh man, we want you to come, and like you book it and you come and cats. Oh man, I had to work and you guys got to show up. Man, I need y'all to show up. So that's what makes all of this stuff work a lot better. But I do hope to get to your area wherever you are. All jokes aside, I do hope to get to your area and start doing clinics in some of you guys' areas. I am working through some of the logistics of all of that stuff, kind of trying to work through the travel and making sure that we're good. We have a location, and it's a lot of stuff when you say you're going to put on a clinic, because believe it or not, a lot of music stores these days aren't opening their doors for that kind of stuff. Come to Jamaica. I'd love to come to Jamaica, man. But yeah, it's a little more difficult nowadays to do those clinics if it's not a lot of hype behind it, and if you're not a you know headlining artists, so to speak. People that are not as well known like myself. It's a little more difficult to get in and out of different places. So I'm still working through the logistics of a lot of that stuff, just keeping it 100 with you guys. But I'm just trying to work through a lot of that stuff. So bear with me. Start requesting. If you have a local music store, mention it to them about the clinics. So when I start contacting your cities, your town, your places, it's something that they know the general public has been asking for, and it makes it easier for me to say, "Hey, I want to come to your city and do this," because they're like, "Okay, that's cool," because some people have been asking about it. So those kind of things really help me in that regard. Because if I'm just calling and they don't have a clue who I am, even though I have a lot of people that know me, there's a lot of people in the world. There's like over 8 billion people on the planet. So you're not that big if you just go into a random store and they don't know who you are. Any advice for quartet players? Yeah, keep going, keep practicing, keep digging in. That's the same advice I would give any player, no matter the genre. Um, just keep going. Don't get comfortable. Don't get complacent with where you are. Don't get stuck in one thing, even if you think you're pretty good. Just keep. Okay, Kevin. I didn't hear my answer. I don't know if I missed your question, but yeah, don't get too comfortable. What was that? Let me go back. Do you practice on African gospel music? I have played some. That for me, Kevin, that's more song driven for me. I don't make it an intention of mine to just go and look for an African gospel song and play it. But if I have to learn it for something, of course, I'm spending time, working on uh, African type stuff. I know that's a bad representation, so forgive me if I'm insulting you right now. But yeah, it's based for me. It's really based on the song and based on what it is I have to be playing. So a lot of times that wouldn't necessarily be my go-to. Obviously, that's not where my culture, my roots of my culture, so to speak, are from. It's more based in like gospel quartet or gospel, just regular gospel stuff or jazz and that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't be a natural thought for me to do that. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't work on it, so to speak. So I hope I answered your question there. But I have played it and I am familiar with it. Let's see, I'm missing something else. How has your music evolved since you began playing? Oh man, how has it not, James? It's like it's it's definitely evolved. I think it's because I've been exposed to so much, such like the question I was just answering just now about the me practicing, African gospel music. I've been exposed over the years to so much, such a broad variety of music from me starting out, like I always reference, me starting out as a quartet gospel player, like mostly on guitar, but you're talking about bass. Like I started out playing gospel quartet on bass, and then I, moved into playing more gospel choir, which is two completely different styles of music, and moved into other stuff. And the more I just got exposed to stuff, especially moving to Atlanta where there was a heavy jazz scene, I was already learning jazz, but having to play jazz with bands as opposed to learning it, playing it at home by yourself, it was completely different. Being in that environment and kind of learning how to move through that and jazz fusion and all that kind of stuff. So, nonetheless, my sound or my style as a bass player has evolved tremendously just over the years with me being, exposed to so much music and me being in so many different musical environments. I had no choice for it to evolve. So I think that's just as as you play many years in a game and being a professional, meaning this is what you do for a living. You never know what gig you're going to be on. I play country gigs, I've played uh, contemporary Christian gigs. I played some sessions like rock set, like almost anything when you want to talk about sessions. So I had to evolve and learn how to, pull out that side of me, or learn how to develop that side of me rather, as a player, in order to deliver what the clients were looking for that different type of music. So my styles range, it's a number of things. My style range, I'm not gonna say everywhere, because there's so much music, there's so many different genres and subgenres. I'm not gonna tell that like I know every genre of music. I don't. But I had to learn a lot of music. So there's a vast majority of genres that I have played, in terms of like main genres, popular genres. Let's see. So do you have plans to come to Africa to do some clinics? Of course, I'd love to come to Africa. What kind of effects do you use the most? I just like to play without effects. Um, the effects that you guys heard me talking about at the beginning of this video are the ones that I pretty much, those are my go-tos when I'm doing my solo stuff, and that's pretty much the only time I'm using any effects. I've always been a just straight plug up and play dry bass player, but over the years, as I've got into more solo stuff, my sound has developed, and of course, the stuff that I've recorded on my albums require me to have more things to enhance my sound, like the envelope filter, like the delay, like the reverb, and the chorus. So those are the main things you'll hear in a lot of my albums. So I just try to make sure I'm able to match that sound when people hear me live. So that's the biggest thing, the biggest reason that I have the few pedals that I use. I have got into Octaver earlier on in my career. I was using some Octaver pedals for a little while, and yeah, it's cool. It's just not really my thing, and I'm still evolving. So who knows in 5 years how many different pedals that I'll be using. I might have a whole stage full of just pedals. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna evolve anymore. Have you ever gone live at your church? Yes, I was doing that for a while when I was there. Uh, I didn't go live that much on YouTube. I went live on Facebook. Um, See here, I appreciate you saying that, because I'm at the point where I want to quit and feel like I'm not getting anywhere. So I'm gonna keep going. Yes, sir. Absolutely, Alan. I understand totally where you're coming from. You just have to keep pushing, man. It's something that we all face. It's something that we all, as players, we go through. Everybody won't admit it. Most people won't, because people like to put on a mask. People like to put on a facade. Like this morning, I'll be completely honest with you. It's been one of those days for me already. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I was on the fence about whether I wanted to get on here and do a live or not, because it's like, man, I felt drained, and I really just, with some things I have going on mentally, I'm like, I didn't feel like getting on. But what good is it for me to tell you guys to persevere and all that kind of stuff if I reach a weak moment and I don't show up? That it's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. And that honesty and that transparency about, well, yeah, I don't feel like it. I'm not going to come on here and hopefully be a drain to you guys. But there's some days I'm not invincible. I'm human just like you guys. And there are some days it's like, it ain't there for me. And so I have to push through it, even with making myself practice, because it's easy to walk in this room and leave that bass sitting on the stand, or to walk in this room and say, you know what, I'm good on this music stuff, and find something else to do completely. It's easy to do that. It doesn't matter how many years you've invested in it. It doesn't matter how many years of success you've already experienced. That's the funny thing. When you see these people who are depressed, and you wonder about like these famous people who commit suicide, which I still don't completely understand, but I kind of get it now. I kind of get it, because some of these people are unfulfilled, especially if you don't have God and you don't have no hope. Some of these people are unfulfilled, and they realize they get all this fame. They might be alone. They don't have family. They don't have peace in their mind. It's a lot of people that go through a lot of different stuff. They have a lot of pressure. Everyone handles pressure different. Everybody don't know how to bounce back from, pressure. And so people respond in different ways, and just understanding that, it gives me a little bit more compassion for different people who do different things, or people who deal with depression, or people who deal with wanting to give up, people who deal with wanting to quit. Where back in the day, I didn't have a reference point for that. Granted, I haven't considered suicide or nothing like that. It ain't got that bad, but I do understand and I do have empathy for people who have gotten to that place, because you know what I'm saying. It's life can be hard. The harder you go at it, the more serious you get about it. It don't get easier; it gets harder, because you're living to set a certain standard, and you're trying to keep a certain standard as an individual. So it gets harder. It don't get easier for you. Nobody rewards you and say, here you go, here's your prize for doing what you're supposed to do. No, it doesn't work like that. It gets hard, and you have to keep going. You have to push through it. And so that's the mindset, even like I said this morning, that I took. I got to, and fortunately it's good. And I will say this, it's good to have people in your corner, to have somebody in your corner, so you don't walk that thing alone and you feel like you're dealing with it by yourself. Because I think those are the things that cause depression and cause people to start having thoughts of suicide, when they feel alone. People feel completely isolated and they don't have anybody. So I encourage you to find someone to talk to, that will help you get through that time. Somebody dependable, somebody reliable. Everybody is not out to get you. Everybody is not, mean or hateful. I fortunately can talk to my wife when I'm feeling those just overwhelming things and just making me like, yo, you know what, I'm done. I give up. Thankfully, I can talk to my wife, and she kind of is that voice of reason for me to help encourage me. And them times, even though I feel like I'm strong, we all have times that we get weak. So you need that person in your corner to help you, to help keep you accountable. That accountability partner, for lack of better words. Have accountability partner, somebody that holds you accountable to what you said you were gonna do. You can hold yourself accountable, but they're just that sometimes it comes days where your mind will play tricks on you, and you need that extra person to remind you of who you are and remind you of the strength you have to keep pushing. And we're talking beyond music. It's one thing to feel like quitting when it comes to playing, but quitting life, you definitely need somebody to help you there. You definitely need somebody to help you during those different things. What's that? Depression and heavy self-doubt is unfortunately a serious issue in your field, and that's highly competitive. At least this is sadly what I've experienced over the years. Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely, you can deal with, if you allow people to, and I'm going to read the other comments. If you allow people or play the game, the comparison game with, social media now and all that kind of stuff, if you play that game and you're not sure, you're not confident in yourself, you can easily fall into that trap of depression. That's why I remind myself of purpose. And it's important to me that I tell you guys about my routine and how I get up and I do my day and everything. I'm constantly feeding myself stuff that inspires me, that motivates me, that helps to remind me of who I am, so that I don't get distracted and start playing the social media compare game. Oh, look at that person life. Their life is better than mine, or this person plays better than me, or he has a better base than I have and I can't afford it. You start playing that comparison game, you start feeling inadequate, you'll start feeling like you're not good enough. And before you know it, it really gets into your mind, and that becomes your demeanor. That becomes what you think about yourself. So it's some things you want to be aware of. Let me go back. I see the comments are coming in pretty good. I don't want to get too far lost in here, because we're at our hour. uh, let's see here. What brand strap do you recommend that won't hurt my shoulder and or back? I use my Warrior straps is what I've been using for pretty much since I've been playing Warrior bases, and they're pretty durable. They're pretty comfortable. Um, I have this other strap that I was using, Italian leather straps, but it's not. It's the way it's designed. It's a sturdy strap, and of course it's leather, but depending on the weight of your base, you might need something, maybe something that's padded. To be honest, I really hadn't, with my Warrior straps, the way that they're built, I really hadn't had any problems with, just the discomfort or anything like that, to my knowledge, because those straps the custom straps that I've been using, you guys know I've been playing Warrior bases for years. those have been pretty comfortable for me. But this is another one that I've used by Italia that was, it's pretty comfortable, even though it's just pretty much a straight leather strap. I think the width of it helps it to not feel like it's just pulling down on your shoulder so much. They have this one, and they have another one. This is about almost 2 inches wide, and they have another one that's thicker than this. Then it covers a little bit more of the shoulder. But who makes some really good straps, or more ergonomic, so to speak? Groove Gear. Groove Gear, I would recommend them. Now their straps are designed. They have even this duo strap thing that uh, my buddy Damien Erskine came up with the idea and developed it with Groove Gear, that it goes across both shoulders, so you evenly distribute the weight of your base. So that might be something you want to look into if you're having back problems or something like that. Then this is made by Groove Gear, GRUV Gear. Groove Gear. You can look up groovegear.com and check out their straps. They make a lot of things thinking about like the health and the benefits of you not, being disproportionate and that kind of thing. So definitely check out Groove Gear. I'm an artist for them. They're the same guys that make the fret wraps. So yeah, they make some pretty amazing straps. If I had to recommend and just go out on a limb and just recommend for comfortability, I would say Groove Gear. Just to give you a solid answer. Um, if Kimbo is still here, Kevin, if you will come to Africa, consider my country on your list, please. Absolutely. Tanzania. Tanzania, sorry. Bruce Young, those on those clinics. All right, got you. Depression, okay, I read that one already. Is a baseline the same as a bass progression? Um, Kinda. It is. The progression is generally like basically the order of notes that a song is following, because that could be the progression, but the bass line could be. So you see what I'm saying? It could be a little bit different. The bass line could be slightly, more moving. It's following the progression, but the bass line is just what the bass player is playing over this particular progression, if that makes sense. Um, uh, I keep losing my place with the comments. All right, how do you go live on IG? How do I? Oh, you said do I go live on IG? Not that much. I really don't go live that much on, especially not playing. So to answer that question, no. I do post stuff on IG a lot, but I don't really go live on IG hardly at all. This is if you're looking to find me live, this is your best bet. I'm here every Tuesday, 7:30. So you can find me to every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your cover, keep on looking up, really keeps me pushing on play. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There you go, Stedman. My quartet stuff. How often do you practice? Almost every day. Almost every day I try to put in at least an hour a day, except for like Sundays. But mostly almost every day I'm practicing. If time permits. I have a lot of responsibility. I got 3 kids and a wife, so but I still try to find time to put in work every day. Do you pray before practicing? Of course. I don't pray because of practicing. I pray just for the sake of relationship. And my playing is just a byproduct, So I don't necessarily, before I pick up my bass, start praying. I'm praying already when I get up out of the bed, So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, it's not a thing that I'm playing before I start practicing. I pray again, but when I get up out of the bed and when I get in here in the morning, I'm praying, I'm reading, and so yeah, the prayer is a constant for me. Man should always pray. Uh, Kimbo. So Joel, so when you practice, do you always practice new stuff? For me, I'm getting lost practicing things which I really know and I really need help on what I have to practice and how to practice. Joel, you should check out my last few videos. I've been dealing with that in my last few videos. I think you'll find the answer that you're looking for, and I can better explain it in those videos that are like dedicated to getting better and practicing and that kind of stuff. We're talking about transcribing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll give you a better. If you got time, go and check out my last few not lives, but the actual videos. Like I got one called "Build Your Confidence," "Listen as You Learn," um, and let's see here. What was the other one that I did? Base application. How and where do I use this stuff? Check out all those videos, and you'll get like it's basically the last 3 lessons that I've posted on YouTube. All right. So let me see here. God, passion, purpose will keep you pushing through. Absolutely, Stephen. Yeah, I'm still here. I ain't leaving till you. Yes, sir. Till I finish. What type of exercise will you recommend in order to play with chords? Um, I've done several of those on the monthly membership lessons. I might have to just do a video on something like that in terms of an exercise to play with chords. Because I mean, it's so many chords, so that's why I'm having to think about your question. Is like when you say chords, there are thousands of chords, so it might have to just be a lesson where I kind of show you some different uh, exercises you can do. Speaking of Groove Gear, did you already have the chance to check out the capsule? I checked it. I saw it. I haven't used it. I think it's really dope. The idea they've thought of everything literally with the capsule. So I think that's a dope concept that they have. Feed not working for me today, Sab. Oh man, sorry about that, Andre. Um, Miami, Florida, I see you. Still have the Say It With Your Strings t-shirts. Absolutely, still have them. They're available on my website, or you can look below this video and you can buy them from my storefront there. If you click on this, you can see the different t-shirts that are available there, as well as the Jermaine Morgan TV hoodies. We got the t-shirts, we got the hoodies, we got all of that stuff. So if you're a real supporter of the channel, show me some support. Y'all go ahead and order some stuff. Go ahead and order your gear and rock it. If you got some of the Say It With Your String stuff already, please take a picture of it. I love to see who's already rocking this stuff, and I'll repost it if you have it already and you're already rocking your Say It With Your Strings stuff. Take some pictures of it and send it. Tag me in your pictures, like on Instagram and that kind of stuff. I'll repost it on the Say It With Your Strings page, as well as my page in my stories as well, if you guys are rocking those t-shirts. Are you still with SIT? Absolutely. Still with SIT. What gauge strings? Hold on. So that was Kimbo asking about the shirts. Yeah, so we still have the shirts available. Working now. Yippee. All right, so what gauge strings do you recommend? I've been using super light. I got custom gauges that I use, so mine are going to be a little different. Mine go from, I think this is 120. I think it's 120. Yeah, it's one. I use one. I was smaller, light gauge string, so it's like 120, 95, 80, 40, and 30. No, I'm sorry. I skipped 60. So it's 120, 95, 80, 60, 40, and my C string on this bass is a 30. You know what I'm saying? So my E string is 95. I know some people use 100, 105, but that's pretty comfortable for me. Yeah. Which fretboard do I recommend? Um, that's preference. That's depending on the sound that you like. I've gotten really, I'm starting to love, this is the ebony fretboard. I'm really loving ebony. I'm really loving this sound of this ebony fretboard. I really like the Purple Heart. That's what my 6 string Warrior is a Purple Heart fretboard, and I like that sound as well. The maple is cool. The maple is cool. I'm probably not as much of a fan just because of the way I play. that I'm not as much of a fan of the maple as some people are. The maple sounds amazing, don't get me wrong, and I love to hear it. But for as far as me playing, I'm not as big of a fan of the maple as I am the darker woods. Just with the different sound and the tone choices that I like. Now, I love the sound of this bass, but it's just the maple fretboard. Just my experience with almost all of the necks, the maple necks for my particular tone. I'm not as big of a fan. I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said I'm not that big of a fan of the maple myself. I'd rather the Purple Heart and the Ebony. I feel like I connect more with. Because you hear certain, well, for me personally, hear certain tones make me inspired to play a little. Yeah, it makes me play different. Hearing those, hearing that different tone that I get out of. It's more inspiring when I play and I hear a certain tone as opposed to other things that I'm playing and I feel like I'm working trying to get a certain tone. Self-thought, well developed. Okay. As you play pretty light gauges, what about your action? Would you call it very low, low, medium, low, and what do you use? Now, I think the discussion, higher action, better sound, uh, preference. I'm a big, I'm gonna say preference all the time because when people make those rules and stuff about just what's the best and this works and if you do this, it's like, I don't get into all of that. To be honest, I honestly don't. I like personally low gauge. Like my action is very low on it. I raised the action on this bass after I bought it. The after I picked it up rather, like the action on here was lower. And when I lowered my gauge of strings down, I had a little buzz, so I had to, kind of adjust to compensate for the buzz that I had going on. So some of y'all might have heard that in the earlier videos when I first got this bass, but I adjusted the action on it because it was too low. But I like low action. I don't want to feel like I'm having to work super hard. I grew up playing on cheap stuff that I had to work really hard to play. So now I don't want to have to work that hard. I want to be able to express and not feel like I'm tearing my hands up in the process. Now there are some things I don't adjust the action on, like the that Squire back there. If I'm playing something that's more soulful, I want a little bit higher action. My Warrior right here, my 5 string, the action is a little higher on that bass. It don't have super low action, and that's cool. I'm totally okay with it not having really super low action. But this bass and my other 6 string, the action is really low because it's already enough that I have 6 strings that I'm playing. I want to be able to just fly through it and not really concern myself with digging in too much because that's another reason I have the ramp on the on my 6 string and this bass because I don't want to have to work too hard when I'm playing. The less work I have to do with my hands, the more freedom, the more speed I have when I'm playing. So for me, that has worked. I know John Patitucci, that's one of his things, having higher action. And I know Yannick Gwizdala has spoke about that, how he raised his action up on his bass. So I'm not in the dark about it, and I'm not against it or anything like that. But just for me personally, my preference, I prefer low action. I don't want it ridiculously low where you're just constantly hearing buzz all the time. But I do like lower action on my particular basses that I'm playing, depending on the style of music. If I'm playing fusion, stuff that I'm going to be moving around the fretboard pretty fast, I prefer low action. If I'm going to be just laying back, holding the pocket to groove, I mean, give me what you give me. You could put a broom and put some rubber bands on a broomstick and I'll be good. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to just me doing my personal thing, I'd rather have the low action. Let's see here. No shows right now. We're working on that. Love the ebony on my fender. Yes, sir. Let me see here. I think I got it. I am self-taught, well-developed ear. Oh, you self-taught, well-developed ear. But I want to learn theory. Yeah, that theory will definitely help you to have a better understanding. Um, and there's tons of resources here online. So, I mean, everything you pretty much learning as far as these basic lessons, you're learning some form of theory. So, but yeah, theory you're learning it every week. If you're on YouTube, like Low Action, any shows, man, I read that. So, good morning, bro. I've been following you for a while. Great lessons. What is your tone setting now? And I think this might be the last question. I'm way over my time, guys. My tone setting now is pretty much with this particular bass. I have it's really based on the bass that you're playing, but normally with the basses I have, my highs, depending on the sound that I'm going for, the highs are boosted all the way with this one because I like that clarity. Whereas if I were to go back, pulls a little bit of the brightness out of it. I do like the clarity when I'm digging in, you know, versus. Oh, let's see. There we go. There we go. All right, so that was the mids. The mids normally for me, depending on the bass that I'm on, are boosted. With my bass here that has different woods and a different tone setting, I used to boost the mids all the time, but as I got to playing different stuff, I noticed I started exploring the different tone options, and I like it better when it's not boosted all the way. Now with the Isabella, the Warrior Isabella bass, I don't like the mids boosted all the time. It depends on what it is I'm playing. Now it has a crazy mid-range tone on that particular bass, but it just depends. It depends on the bass that I'm playing. So as far as the EQ settings, like I said, my bass is pretty much boosted all the time because I want it. It's still the bass, and I don't want it to lose the meat and potatoes element of it. But if I'm soloing, I might pan, not necessarily cut my bass, but I might pan more to the back pickup because I still want it to have a lot of body, but I don't want it to be so muddy that you can't understand what I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? So here, bass is boosted, highs are boosted, the mids are boosted. So everything on this bass is boosted right now. The only thing, the pan switch is sitting right like center. Now if I were to pan all the way to the front pickup, and with that ebony fretboard, it got a different kind of tone to it. So you can get away with a lot with this particular bass as opposed to if I'm playing this Warrior here, you're gonna get a completely different sound with the EQ settings. Let's see if I can do this quickly. I can clean my pots out. Let's see here. All right. And so if I were to pan to that back pickup, so it's a lot of tone options here. Now if I were to boost the mids on here, it's a completely different personality. So it really matters. It matters the instrument. It matters the bass you're playing. Let me pull it back. She got a lot of juice to her this morning. But if you're just looking for meat and potatoes, I'm distorting a little bit because it's really boosting. So yeah, again, it depends. Hope I know I went all the way around the world answering your question, but it really depends on the bass. And I like options when I play. That's the biggest thing. I wouldn't say I have a set tone because I like options when I play. I like to be able to have options. So that's another reason I wanted the boutique based route because I personally feel like it's just gonna be a myth in my own mind. I personally feel like I got a lot more options available to me as it relates to tone, and I enjoy my options. But it's all preference. It's what you like, what works for you, and what's cool for you. All right, so let's see these last few comments. All right, Joel. Okay, who is that? Say I'm late for work. Just waiting for you to end. Really learned a lot from you today, man. Don't be late on my on my part. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate all you guys. I've been. Let's see here. Appreciate that. Roll nice. No, Rollins. Hold on just a second here. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Joel. Kimbo, thank you. Thanks for your time, bro. Hope to see you at Cape Town Jazz Festival soon. Absolutely. Uh, Watching from Zimbabwe. I'm going for lectures now. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Joel. Take care. Tone come from spending time with the bass and practicing, but also knowing specifically EQ. Absolutely. I agree. Yep. So, Sandra, yeah, you can send me a direct message, and hopefully I can answer your question. But anyway, thank you guys for being on here. I have to go. I'm way over, way past my time. So now people gonna see this video and like it's an hour and something long, and they like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. But anyway, thank you guys for being here this morning. I'm out. I am tired. So I'll see you guys. Take care. Have a great day. Absolutely, no problem.